Hey, welcome to this Freaky Friday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. No, we're not coming to you live from the Question Tequila Studios in downtown Manhattan. We are on the road. We took the show on the road and the whole team on the road. We're in the Showboat Hotel in beautiful Atlantic City, New Jersey. Yeah, we're in the Garden State. A lot of crazy stuff happened here in the Garden State. We're going to break all of that down. The president was right down the street in Wildwood recently. We'll get into that a little later also. Before we get into today's show, the Dow Jones has experienced some mild difficulty this morning. Dow down 180, but it's been overheated, up about 700 points over the last 3 days. And many are saying that the coronavirus fears may be subsiding now, and that's going to be a great boost to the market. Bitcoin still on a run at just about 9,800 as we speak. As I mentioned earlier this week in the Monday Morning Quarterback, my newsletter, anything through 10,000 could be a rocket shot, and there's a lot of money trying to get out of China right now. So keep your eye on your Bitcoin wallet, and keep your eye right here, because today from the Showboat in Atlantic City, not only am I joined as usual by my co-host, the managing editor Frank Morano, but James Toto joins us also today. He was with us once before on Liquid Lunch, and we had a phenomenal technical disaster that day. And we have you back. We have lighting, we have mics, we have everything. James is a decorated U.S. Army veteran. He's a former federal air marshal. He's also a councilman and a Republican candidate for Atlantic County Freeholder. James, thank you for joining us. Frankie, you did it again, pal. You got us on the road, and we're in the show.
Well, I actually take very little credit. The credit really goes to two entities. One, hotelplanner.com, which is a big supporter of ours. And if you're ever looking to book travel, you should really consider hotelplanner.com. And really our partners here at the Showboat, who we went to them and we said, you know, we have a long history of not being able to make things work. Can we do the show from there and have it work? And they said, absolutely.
That's right. The last time it didn't work, but today it's working.
Yeah. And what a great time to be here.
Charm.
With the car show, there's a fashion show, there's some boxing. So whether you're into cars, fashion, or boxing, this is the place to be.
So, James, you've seen it all. You've been out there and defended our country. You put your life on the line. God bless you for that. And then you come back home and you put your military service to the side. It'll always be with you. But then you get into community service and serving. Right now you're running to be a freeholder.
Yes.
But I'd like to get your reaction as a Republican in Jersey, which is tough to be, on this whole impeachment nightmare.
Well, it's really amazing that the Democrat Party can't seem to get out of its own way. So what do? They go and attack the president on things that just really were pretty much made up. They really had nothing there, and they keep going after him, and it just doesn't work. And it was proven there between the Congress and the Senate. They didn't have the support that they wanted. They knew about it. They still pursued it forward. And this is what you have. Now, the president's ratings are through the roof. He's doing very well.
Unbelievable.
We just had the rally down in Wildwood, which was absolutely insane.
Were you down there?
I was there.
How crazy was it? Because the left-wing media doesn't let you see how huge these crowds are. But I heard there's like 100,000 people for a 7,500-seat arena.
It was absolutely electric. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't outlandish. It was a great patriotic rally. It was about the president. It was about the United States of America, and about the progress that we're making in pushing the American agenda forward. Which is, we want to see people go back to work. We want people, to be on their own and responsible for themselves. We don't want more government. We want less government. And it was a phenomenal rally. It really was. It wasn't so much rallying around the president as it was rallying around the United States. There were American flags everywhere, which is absolutely, a phenomenal sight to see. There were two huge ones at either end. Now, you were saying about the numbers that were there. Outside, there were, tens of thousands of people. On the inside, that arena can hold, when they're having an event there, 7,500 people.
Fair.
They moved the chairs out, and the stage was just there, and there had to be another 2,000 plus people on the floor. So you're looking at about 9,500 people that were on the inside. It was jam-packed. Outside, there were still people there. It was absolute, it was great. It was a peaceful rally.
Frankie, I'm going for my bell. You know, when he hits like the big number, 9,500, I'm looking to ring my bell, but nobody
we're
brought my bell.
We're going to have some other analysis of that Wildwood rally for the course of the next 2 hours. But James, I want to take advantage of your military and national security expertise. You know, we heard a lot about this leader of Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula that was killed in Yemen yesterday, Qasim al-Rimi. How significant is this?
That's huge. He was the founding members, or one of the founding members of that small faction of Al Qaeda, and you know, taking him out, it sends another message. Hey, look, this president is strong. America is strong. We're moving forward. We're doing what we need to do to keep not only Americans safe, but Americans safe abroad over in Europe. You know, it's a huge hit to Al Qaeda, and I think that President Trump has done a phenomenal job in moving us forward.
All right, one after the next, right? Trump just keeps surgically removing these Al Qaeda and these global terrorists.
Al-Baghdadi, Soleimani,
Abu Bakr Baghdadi. But you also spent some time as a federal air marshal.
Yes.
Right? And now this whole thing with New York State, the New York State legislature has given illegal aliens driver's licenses, and that's caused the Department of Homeland Security to say, hey, if you have a New York driver's license, you can't come in anymore.
Right. Legitimately. Look, let's go back to 9/11. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 11 or 13 terrorists that were on board that aircraft had New Jersey driver's licenses. They were fake New Jersey driver's licenses, and they got on board this aircraft and they committed a heinous crime against the United States, a terroristic act. It took down 2 buildings that were symbolic of capitalism, of our country and success and freedom. That's what those buildings represent.
And if I understand what DHS is doing with respect to this global entry program, they're not telling any New Yorker you can't travel. They're just saying you can't have special privileges to skip the line. You're going to have to get vetted just like everybody else would.
Exactly.
What's wrong with that?
Because what New York State has decided to do, along with New Jersey, is they decided to weaken the status of the driver's license by giving the driver's license to illegal immigrants. And people want to argue back and forth. Oh, it's going to lower insurance costs,
and really? Not share the data with DHS.
Exactly.
Right.
So they're not cooperating with ICE. They're not cooperating with DHS. There's a number of different failures that are ahead of us with this, and I can't wrap my head around why they're doing this, other than the fact of I think it's going to be another fraudulent election down the road.
So let me ask you this: when you're a federal air marshal, so you ride the plane, right,
yes,
in civilian clothes, so
correct,
nobody knows. Now, my father was a cop. If I see you on the plane, I'm thinking in my head right away, we got a federal air marshal on. Yeah. Do they make you wear a disguise, like a little mustache? They mess your hair. You look like you're at a central casting.
Yeah, well, back in the day, my hair was a little bit longer. It was, we had relaxed grooming standards to a degree, and some genius decided, okay, look, let's make them wear sport coats. So how are you going to carry a sport coat with an untucked shirt, and then you're going to get on board, your weapon's there, so you're not going to take your sport coat off. I had a 10-year-old kid high-five me one day in the aisle. He's walking up the aisle, and he's like, yeah, buddy, and he hides.
He doesn't even realize what almost happened.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I high-fived him back.
Plaxico Burress.
No. It was one of those things. It became a joke. And eventually they turned things around and they said, you know what, look, you guys there's no such thing as semi-covert. It's like being a little pregnant. Either you are or you aren't. Either you're covert or you're not. Now we're getting a little bit more support for our air marshals. They're moving it forward. In terms of national security and what this driver's license does, you're weakening a system.
Well, so again, I want to reiterate, it's not just the fact that they're giving out the driver's licenses, it's they're issuing the driver's licenses and then refusing to share the data with federal law enforcement.
Correct.
And it's sort of a twofer, in terms of national security vulnerability. I know you're running for office here in Atlantic County. Atlantic County is one of these...
That's what we need. We need some more Toto in our life. That's what we need for sure.
Atlantic County is one of these sort of purple counties where sometimes they go Republican, sometimes they go Democrat. As a Republican, how difficult is it these days, in an era where everybody acknowledges things are pretty polarized, to reach across the other side of the aisle and win over Democrats and independents who maybe don't like the president, but you want them to vote for you?
It becomes an interesting conversation when we go back and forth with that. It's a matter of, look, where do you stand on issues? And it's a matter of, we're pretty much Atlantic County is a blue collar county, and I'm that representative of the blue collar. I work in public works. I'm not some executive that sits in an office in some corner and is protected. Reaching out to the blue collar folks, they understand the message. Look, I pay my taxes. I want the government off my back. I know several small business owners that want the state of New Jersey is making it very uninhabitable for small business or even large businesses, and they're moving out. People are closing up shop and moving. We need to stop that, and they understand that message. So reaching across the aisle to the Democrats, they get it. They understand it. It's not about Republican or Democrat when I do that. It's a matter of, look, what's best for Atlantic County, what's best for New
America. So people should think twice and say, well, he's an Army vet and he's a Republican. You went out there and put your life on the line for everyone, not just Republicans.
Yeah, and that's what some people don't seem to understand, and they want to convolute the message outside of that. It's look, you get elected to office. There are things that I'm going to be fighting for that I might not necessarily agree with.
Understood.
And it's a matter of, but the popular, the popular consensus is, look, this is what we want. Okay, well, who am I to say no to? There's 275,000 people here in Atlantic County, and let's just say for giggles and grins, 250,000 of them want, certain things passed. I'm going to agree with them.
Regardless of what color they are. You guys here in the Garden State, this is becoming quite the state now, because when Nancy Pelosi said we're only going to do an impeachment if it's compelling and it's bipartisan, turned out to be bipartisan with one Democrat voting against impeachment from right here in the state of New Jersey.
Correct.
Now he's coming over to the Republican side. How is that being received with Jeff?
Very well. Very well.
This is his district. I want to point out, for people that don't know, that we're in South Jersey now, which is the heart of Jeff Van Drew country.
And Jeff has been phenomenal. He really has. Look, as far as things that I really focus on, which is infrastructure, veterans issues, getting people back to work, the fishing industry, the tourism industry. He's been phenomenal with that, and I can't argue. And it's a breath of fresh air having him come over to this side. He gets it. He's pretty much down the center. He votes his conscience, and he votes the will of the people. And it's great that he's here. I'm happy to have that.
I'll trade one Jeff Van Drew for one Mitt Romney every day of the week.
Every day of the week, twice on Sunday.
That's a swap. We should send Willard. For those of you at home who don't know, Mitt Romney's real name is Willard. He goes by Mitt. So Frank and I passed an edict on this show that we only refer to him as Willard from now on. But I floated a little theory that I think Willard is trying to get on a unity ticket as a Republican vice president to either Bloomberg or maybe even Biden if he needs help.
Look, he had a shot at the presidency. He really dropped the ball. He could have gone after President Obama on a number of different issues, and he didn't. And the people saw a weakness there, and they decided not to go with Mitt Romney, and that's just the way the cards fell. And if he's got sour grapes, shame on him.
Well, that's how the cookie crumbles, and James Toto is always here for us when we're in the Garden State, and especially when we're down in Atlantic County. Check out James, his campaign, and all that stuff. This is a great guy. He's a great American. Coming up right next is we're going to mix it up like we do every day, Democrat, Republican. Bill Cortez is going to be here. He's a Marine veteran and Republican strategist. Also, Mike Soleimani. We offered him to mix it up against James Toto like the last time, but Soleimani wanted no piece of Toto. So now he's Suleiman. I'm thinking about Soleimani, the
big difference.
Iraqi
big difference. Yeah, big difference.
General. All right, Mike Suleiman will be here with Bill Cortez to mix it up right after this.